Welcome to the latest in our Pulsion Talks series, where we look at trends in technology. I'm joined once again by our owner and founder, John Maguire. There's no doubting that technology has moved at a rapid pace in what is a relatively short space of time, and we're now all fully on board with the term digital transformation. We've seen mobile technology completely transform the way businesses can operate, and in an earlier episode we discussed why cloud migration is still continuing to dominate. And now artificial intelligence is becoming increasingly prevalent. Indeed, both the Scottish and UK governments have placed such an emphasis on this that they've put committees in place to look at the impact this is going to have on our future of business and the way that we use technology in general. So we're going to discuss that in a bit more detail this morning. So to kick off, AI might seem like a daunting prospect to people that aren't up to speed with the latest technologies, and it could conjure up images of sci-fi movies and create some kind of fear around it. What would you say to those people?
Yeah, I think those fears have been kind of overblown. Artificial intelligence, things like machine learning, those kind of technologies are really just extensions of software. So they're really just behind or under the hood. They're effectively statistical modelling type applications that effectively take data and learn from that data. So it's the whole kind of general AI sort of fears that people are talking about. I think are somewhat overblown. So it's now getting a fairly accepted area of software that people can actually do useful things in business with.
Can you give us some examples of some of those things that they're using it for in business now?
So for example, some examples that we've looked at are things like natural language processing, where you can take documents. We've got clients who take documents and have to extract information from those documents that are not straightforward piece of information to get. So you have to kind of infer bits and pieces, and what you can do there is you can have machine learning algorithms that actually learn from previous documents and then pull out the necessary information. So we use it things like that. We can use it for things like image classification, where you want to extract objects from images. You can use it in chatbots to hold conversations with people using artificial intelligence to kind of get the gist or the understanding of what somebody's saying and to answer the relevant questions based on that. You're also seeing various other use cases in terms of recommendation engines. It's the sort of thing that Amazon would recommend books. Those sort of things have been used in lots of places. So they're just almost any area. I think for business, anybody who's saying that they don't see a use for AI within their business probably hasn't looked deeply enough.
Yeah. I think the Amazon one's a really good example, given that people see that all the time when they log on and they're seeing the recommendations, but wouldn't be aware of what the technology is behind that's recommending them to them. AI has been described as the fourth industrial revolution in some articles that we've looked at lately. Yeah. Would you agree that it's going to have that big an impact on the way that we work?
Yeah, I would say AI is probably going to be the biggest transformation in software that I've seen. So I've been around for the birth of the PC. I've been around for the web and the transformation that's happening. And you actually look at, the famous examples always like Woolworth. They didn't keep up with modern technology. You're seeing how Amazon have just grown hugely through things like e-commerce and the web. So, before the web, or the very early days of the web, people were saying, I don't think you'd ever see anybody buying anything online. Now everybody buys everything online. So the web was transformational. The mobile is transformational as well, because now you're seeing people having businesses actually connecting to their customers in their hand effectively 24/7. Really, you don't have to go and browse to a website because you've got apps that will notify you of various bits and pieces. Having said that, those are all ways of getting information to people or to digitize digitized channels. Effectively, what you're seeing with AI is people are actually using AI to undertake some jobs that weren't possible just with straightforward software engineering, straightforward coding.
Okay. I think some people's fears probably come from a lack of awareness of knowing what AI can do for business, and there's a perception around AI and machines going to take over my job and replace jobs. What would you say to allay some of those fears?
So I think that new technology's always been replacing jobs since, if you go back maybe 150 years, beginning of the Industrial Revolution, there'd be lots of people working in the fields, with a spade and a fork, digging up fields. Those people don't dig up fields anymore.
Yeah.
But we still have most of the population employed. So jobs change. It's the same with the web. When I went to university, we to read books on the social impact of computing, of the microprocessor at that time, on society. They were talking about more leisure time, people not working as much, etc. There's just new jobs. Somebody from the 1970s would have no clue about what a YouTube influencer is. AI will definitely, change some jobs, and it may make some roles kind of redundant, but at the same time there'll be new jobs, because that's generally what happens. And indeed, you kind of need that to run a society at some point. Maybe we will get more leisure time at some point.
But it's not
maybe not.
In terms of business, you've outlined some of the examples. What's the real main benefit of applying this to business?
I think I'd say with digital, just think of it as a digital transformation technology. I'd say there's two reasons. There's two main reasons for business to look at it, for organisations to look at it, and that's either to make money or save money.
Okay.
If you're in business, those are the big drivers. Obviously, saving money by automating processes, allows you to basically save money. If you've got algorithms that can do the job of humans, or if you can extend your support for the same cost, you look at things like chatbots to be able to offer support perhaps 24/7 without having to go through the cost and the setup of having people in a call centre or whatever, responding to chat messages, say 24/7. You look at making money. You look at Amazon, for example. What Amazon and what Netflix are doing with recommendation engines is to try and make more money by selling, or maybe not Netflix in that respect, but Netflix are want to make it a channel or a service that you love, because it just recommends all the things that you really like, and you're always engaged. You're unlikely to give up your subscription, because it's always introducing things based on what you liked before, and it's very personalised. So I think that those are the two benefits: either save money or make money. But that's true with every bit of software. But AI is just another tool that you can use to achieve those objectives, really.
Perfect. What's the downside? Is there any drawback to starting to widely apply this to business applications?
The downside, there's obviously ethical concerns, which is a big thing at this point in time. A lot of algorithms are based on training data, so you have to ensure that your training data is fair. So you'll see examples whereby somebody was saying, if you use historic data from a company that always promoted men to senior management positions, and then you train an algorithm to screen potential new senior managers, then what you're seeing is those algorithms are biased towards men, because they've not actually, there's not put a fair training set in there. There was a famous one of in America of basically a sentencing engine that had been trained on previous records of sentencing, and they found actually that African Americans were getting higher sentences than the Caucasian Americans, and that was due to, yet again, bias within training data. So you have to be really careful, depending on your use case, that your training data, it's going back to, they always said this in computer science, it's like garbage in, garbage out. So if you don't have the necessary training data, so you have to be careful that you don't offload too much trust to an algorithm, and if you do, that you're testing and you're making sure the training data is good quality training data.
So data is fairly key.
And you're also seeing this. You're also seeing it in terms of facial recognition, that certain ethnicities can't be recognised as well by. I think there was a big thing with one of the phone manufacturers where they didn't recognise some faces as well as other faces, and that was because they probably had less training data for that particular ethnicity than for others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's an AI Readiness Index which looks at all the countries in the world. Published in 2019, it had the UK at number 2 in terms of readiness.
Yeah.
We were down 1 in
Yeah.
2017. We were number 1 slot in that. Do you agree that we're in a strong position to really take advantage of this? And what should we be doing to make sure we stay at the forefront of that and other countries don't come up and overtake us?
Yeah, I think we are in a strong position. We've got great research, we've got great institutions here within AI. I mean, some of the indeed we're talking here in Scotland. People like Jeff Hinton, the kind of father of deep learning, which is why the kind of major AI went to Edinburgh University, he's now in Canada, in Toronto University, I think, at the minute. But we have great research and development here within AI. So you're seeing that we have that. What may hold the UK and some Western societies back is access to data. We talk about the ethics of data and privacy. Certainly some thoughts, certainly Google believe that China will become a kind of AI superpower because they perhaps don't have a stringent data control. So they've got lots more data. They've also got a bigger population, to learn and mine data, and they have a lot more freedom to use that data for machine learning algorithms to learn. So we are in a good position. Some of the data privacy issues may cause us to kind of fall behind because we can't do it. But in terms of algorithms and actually developing AI techniques, then I think we're in a really good position. Even you look at DeepMind, who were bought by Google for something called reinforcement learning, which is a big area of artificial intelligence. There's a London-based company who were bought by Google, so pretty much at the bleeding edge. So although there are American companies doing a lot of stuff, I think the UK is well positioned. And one of the other issues that we have is the same issue that we had with the web and the same issue that we had with mobile, is people saying it's not really applicable to their business. And in some cases, those people end up being dinosaurs because they can't compete. I've always got the example, if you're running a taxi company, for example, and we're not there yet with self-driving cars, as soon as the first proper taxi company comes out with self-driving cars, and that company, maybe Uber, if you believe the press, then how do you compete when you have to pay drivers and pay for a taxi versus somebody and cars that can run 24/7 self-driving? We're not there yet, but that business model is then broken after that.
It's a good example of how their competition have to keep up.
Absolutely.
And how do you stay at the forefront of that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So as always, over to you. What does this mean to you? Have you already applied AI to your business? What's your experience so far? And let us know if you are looking at this, what examples you've got, and share them with us. Thank you.
Thank you.